A Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder, Chapter 15, Part 3. Danielle? Andrea looked thoughtful. She seems nice enough, but I can't help feeling sorry for her. Why? Because Boyd is such a control freak. I've seen them at parties, and he doesn't like to let her out of his sight. It must be stifling. I bet Danielle has to ask his permission before she can even go to the ladies' room. Hannah remembered how Danielle had whispered in her husband's ear right before she'd left him at the mayor's fundraiser. I think you're right. I know I am. Thank God Bill's not like that. Would it work if he were? No way. Andrea laughed, and then she gestured toward a corner of the huge ballroom. There's Danielle right now. I guess Boyd doesn't mind how much she spends on her clothes. She's wearing the peach dress that I saw at the mall, and I know it cost over $500. Where? Hannah's eyes searched the crowd. Right by that flowering hibiscus tree. She's standing there with a perfectly polite little smile on her face, waiting for Boyd to finish talking to Queen Judith. Hannah grinned. Her sister had started to call Judith Woodley Queen Judith right after she'd begun to date Benton. I see her. I really don't understand women like Danielle. She's got a great figure, and she always covers it up. Either Boyd's the jealous type, or she's really shy about her body. Hannah realized that her sister was right. She'd never seen Danielle wear anything even close to revealing. Tonight was no exception. The peach dress had long sleeves and a high mandarin collar. Can you and Bill keep Norman amused for a couple of minutes? I really need to talk to Danielle. All right, just don't take too long. If Norman starts telling me that I need to have my teeth cleaned, I'm going to run for the hills. He won't. Norman's not like that at all. He's got a great sense of humor. If you just get to know him, you'll like him. If you say so. Andrea shrugged and headed back to the table, while Hannah made her way through the crowd toward Danielle. As Hannah moved closer, she saw that Coach Watson was in deep conversation with Judith Woodley, and judging from the intense look on his face, Hannah figured that he was trying to drum up a donation for new teen uniforms. I have to talk to you, Danielle. Hannah moved in to claim her before the coach could. Let's go to the ladies' powder room. But I'm waiting for Boyd. He told me to stay right here, and he'll be angry if I go off without... It's important, Danielle. Hannah interrupted her. Just tell him you need to fix your face or something. Is there something wrong with my face? No, it's fine. I just need to talk to you about a mutual friend. Danielle stared at her for a moment, and then the light dawned. All right, Hannah. Just let me tell Boyd and I'll be right with you. Less than a minute later, Hannah led Danielle into the ladies' powder room. She was in luck. The large space was deserted, and she flipped the lock on the door. I need more information, Danielle. But I've told you everything I know. You shouldn't lock the door, Hannah. What if someone needs to get in? They'll wait. You told me that you were with Ron from 11 until 7:20 the next morning. That's right, I was. I told you the truth. I'm sure you did. But I need you to think back to the time you spent with Ron. Did you see anyone else? Anyone at all? No. All of his home delivery customers were still asleep, and we didn't meet anyone at the school. That's why I said I'd go along. Ron promised that no one would see me. Was there any time that Ron was out of your sight? Danielle frowned as she thought about it. Only when he was loading the truck. But there wasn't anyone else around. Then Ron didn't meet anyone at all. No, I don't think so. Danielle stopped, and her eyes widened. Wait, after Ron loaded up for his commercial route, he had to run back inside the dairy for another box of pens with a Cozy Cow logo on them. He was leaving them with every order, and it was some kind of a promotional thing. When he came out, he said that Max had better get a move on, or he'd be late for the Buttermakers convention. Then Ron saw Max. Hannah felt a prickle of excitement. What time was that? 6:15. Ron asked me to check to make sure he was on schedule. He was so organized, Hannah. He had everything worked out to the minute, so he wouldn't be late. Daniel's voice quavered. Daniel couldn't break down now that there wasn't time. You're helping a lot, Daniel. Ron would be very proud of you. You're right. I think he would. Daniel took a deep breath and let it out in a quavering sigh. Do you know why Max was at the dairy so early? He was meeting with someone in his office. Max was in the meeting at 6:15 in the morning. That's what Ron said. I don't know who was with him, Hannah. Ron didn't say. Hannah drew a deep breath. She wished she had time to think about how this new information fit into the picture, but there would be time for that later. Try to remember what everything looked like at the dairy when Ron reloaded the truck. Did you see any cars in the parking lot? I know Ron's car was there. That's where we parked when we got there at 4 in the morning. I don't know about later, Hannah. The parking lot's in the rear, behind the building. When Ron came back to load up for the second time, he used the truck road at the side. That's where the loading dock is. How about when you left? Did you drive around the building? Danielle shook her head. There's a turnaround on the side, and Ron used that. We didn't drive past the parking lot at all. Thanks, Danielle. Hannah walked over to unlock the door. You've been very helpful. Danielle gave Hannah a timid smile. I feel really bad that I didn't ask Ron for who was with Max in his office. That's okay. But it's important, isn't it? It could be, but you had no way of knowing. Besides, we can always ask Max. That's right. Danielle looked relieved. I'd better get back to Boyd, and I suppose you need to get back to Norman. After Danielle left, Hannah sat down on the cushioned bench in front of the mirror and thought about what she'd learned. Ron had seen Max at 6:15, meeting with someone in his office. It could be something, or it could be nothing. Only time would tell.